First, there was one in 2021, and now, 2023, inconceivably, there's another. Two tractor trails inside the Mayflower Bocawina National Park in Stan Creek. We are told there may be more. On Monday, March 6, a holiday, park rangers on joint patrol with police followed the trail of the latest tractor path out of the park. The clearing was first noticed on February 23, and in the days thereafter, rangers saw signs of actions to come inside the park. Trees bearing the machete mark indicating you're next to be felled. A truck with license plates registered to a Tea Kettle, Cayo resident, and another vehicle with Mexican license plates in the area where entry is gained into the forest. The joint March 6th patrol soon began hearing what turned out to be a commercial chainsaw, and then, some 400 meters from the northwestern boundary of the national park, they happened upon a group of 3 men after 1 p.m. They would turn out to be illegal loggers because, while they affirmed their boss had a permit, none was produced. The boss, who was not far from the group, said he would retrieve it and would meet them at the Hopkins police station, where his employees were detained. The following day came, and still no permit. Here is Park Ranger Special Constable and Forest Officer Victor Pishaba, who accompanied the Association of Protected Areas Management Organizations, APAMO officials, on Tuesday, March 7th to document the illegal activity.
We actually encounter activities within the park as well, so we escort the areas and no one was on site, but on the way out we hear chainsaw operating, and that's what we led to this person, and none of them provide with a permit, so they actually told us that their boss have the permit, or is the one in charge, and his boss came and actually told us that he have a permit but he didn't bring it, that tomorrow he will provide that for us.
Tomorrow is today.
Today.
And has that permit been provided?
No.
Notably, the rangers said even forest officers stationed in the south claimed the men had a permit, and the detainees were released on the strength of that affirmation. But 2 days later, on Wednesday, we would confirm from the Chief Forest Officer Wilbur Sabido that they did not. Pressed on that questionable action on the part of his officers, Sabido told us it would have to be looked into. And concerns abound. On the last occasion in 2021, the hammer was not brought down with all the weight of the law on violators. Of 6 men caught, 3 took the rap in an out-of-court plea deal with the forest department, and so a police officer present and the truck driver hauling the illegal forest produce, who happened to be a former forest department employee, went scot-free along with a minor. Had all been dragged through court, penalties could have been far more stringent given stiffer fines legislated in 2017. Likewise, the driver's truck could have been confiscated until he was processed in court. The question now is, will those tasked with safeguarding the sanctity of protected areas go easy again on the violators this time? Unfortunately, we note that the person referenced as the boss, who was located not far from where his employees were busted, won't be charged for aiding in the commission of a forest offense. Today, Wilbur Sabido told us current law does not support such a charge. His employees who were charged today include a Bella Vista Belizean resident, a Cowpen Belizean resident, and a Guatemalan resident of Independence Village, who Sabido says can be charged for any applicable immigration offenses after forestry's case is done. The illegal loggers went for mostly precious hardwoods and even had a laundry list of logs to cut.
Well, at the moment we are at the Santa Maria log, and the others, what we actually been seeing evidence of the remaining of the trunks will be like cramanti, pricky yellow, and mahogany. We actually find evidence of their list that they need to cut. 4 pieces of 6 by 6, 10, 13, 2 by 9 by 14, 12 pieces 8 by 9, 10, 20 pieces at 2 by 9 by 18 by 14, that will be 29 pieces. 4 pieces at 2 by 8 by 16, 20 pieces 2 by 8, 19, and the list go on.
Have you found any within the national park that were cut?
We have remainders of, yeah, some like bricky yellow.
To make their jobs easier, loggers clear out these picado roads inside the forest to roll down their produce onto tractor paths for final extraction. Rangers tell us they have found about 6 of these picado roads in this area, this one being the largest by far. We underscore here that those trails were freshly made. The felling of trees and the desecration of forest floor for tractor paths being bad enough, litter left strewn around is another problem. In some cases, we are told those plastics and cans, like sausage tins themselves, can be a source of forest fires. We even saw a condom packet, ever-ready batteries pried open for the carbon to be used as timber markers, water bottles, and more. With the million-dollar question being who all is involved in such a large-scale, well-oiled operation, another significant question is why go through all the trouble? The area where the illegal loggers were caught on March 6th was up a pretty steep hill, and the area is remote.
You can see the size of the trees and quality of trees, so you gotta work to get that price. So, and they maybe paying the guys good to get this out. Santa Maria, most of them been used like for furnitures and beams or ceilings for a big, maybe expensive house, so they can varnish it and can show the color of the board. Difficulty aside, there's the sophistication of the heavy-duty industrial equipment in use. Well, I would suggest an organized team, because according to the evidence that we find, according to 2 chainsaw that we encountered in the site, was a chainsaw, plane saw, and one with a guide. You're converting it into lumber like you see in the mills.
Right in
so,
here.
Right
Yeah,
in
like
here.
it's neatly cut.
Yeah.
For those who may think that a few logs cut are insignificant, one, they do add up, and then there's the bigger picture. For that, we hear from APAMO Executive Director Jose Perez.
It is that now that we've had reports of the illegal logging activities, and as I said, it's very disheartening to see what is happening out here.
The process of bringing these people to justice, it's an injustice to the environment, but we know that everything is interconnected. So at the end of the day, with climate change, you're deforesting. We see that they're clearing large tractor paths within the area that actually go into the national park, and that is also illegal.
Obviously, this trade is well organized. It is not just a bunch of people coming out here to cut the prized hard lumber that we have. There's definitely the big people involved. This has to be approached from a systemic perspective, where we have ourselves as the co-managers of protected areas doing our part, but also government, not only the relevant department from the Ministry of Sustainable Development, but including the police. And what I'm noting also, even the legislative body, because right now, as you could see, as I said, again, these people are well informed. The cutting they started on adjacent to the boundary, but as you can note here, the trails are leading right into the protected areas. And so that is their modus operandi. I want to thank the CEO, Kenneth Williams, for acting quickly when I called him last night. It is these kind of actions and responses that we need. Time is of essence. And so we're still not there yet in respect to response to when the rangers hold someone, but also prosecuting them successfully. I think we're still short in that regard. But I'm hoping that we can meet pretty soon. We've been talking about this for quite a while now. Many times it's a small man that is caught on site. But this is not a small man operation. This is unacceptable. We pride ourselves of being a green country, We pride ourselves of being eco-friendly. Our branding, our tourism product is natural resources based. And on one hand, we are protecting, and on the other hand, we have people who have monies to finance these kind of operations destroying our forests.
Perez believes that to do more, a buffer should be established around national parks and no logging permits should be issued therein.
All protected areas in Belize have been designated for a special reason, but at the core is their biodiversity. This is not only for wildlife, but also flora. The size of the trees that were cut, those have taken decades to reach the size of those trees. Climate change, carbon. These are the roles that these forests play. They're very important in protecting our water at the end of the day that reaches Belize City. Vast areas that have been cleared. I mean, it's crazy. I really believe that it's time that government considers legislating, establishing a buffer adjacent to protected areas. A buffer that should be untouched and preserved, because that is what is being used to penetrate the protected areas. Or we have permit or we have license to cut trees just outside of the border or the boundary. And then what happens? They penetrate into the protected area. And if you have poor surveillance or you don't have the resources to do proper surveillance and patrolling, then they get away with it.
And if they would go unchecked, all of these big trees would be gone.
Exactly, and that's a sad thing. And that's why thanks again to these hardworking rangers, man. It's not easy. You saw coming up here how hard it is. The terrain is not easy. But thanks to committed rangers, and I must commend them that to keep up the good job. Without them, we wouldn't be here.
We are told the men charged in this latest case are to be taken to court next week. Reporting for Krem News, I am Marisol Amaya.